If you're around my age, you remember a time when hip-hop and R&B music actually used to come from a genuine place. When I was a kid, sampling was still very much a prominent thing in urban music production, and we had some great songs come out during that period thanks to artists and producers who really put their heart and soul into the music they were making. So this is a list of 5 of the smoothest hip-hop and R&B songs from the early 2000s, in my opinion at least. Now, this isn't a definitive top 5 or anything like that, it's just a list of 5 of the smoothest songs from that period that I consider to be my personal favorites. Let's get started. Number 5. Busta Rhymes featuring Mariah Carey and the Flip Mode Squad, I Know What You Want, produced by Rick Rock. Released in 2001, this song came out when I was in the 5th grade and has been one of my favorite Busta songs ever since I heard it at age 9 back in '01. One of my best friends had it on a mix CD that he used to listen to in his Walkman. Not too long after he showed it to me, it was all over the radio, night and day, for a good minute. The beat is so smooth, and it'll stay stuck in your head once you hear it. Mariah Carey's voice is so sensual on this. I don't think it would have sounded quite right had any other R&B singer sung her part. As I said earlier, this was produced by the legendary Rick Rock, who has done production for some of my favorite hip-hop artists of all time, like E40, Tupac, and the greatest rapper of all time, Tech Nine. Now, I was sure that this song was crafted from some sample from somewhere, maybe an old 70s or 60s soul song, but to my surprise, it was a fresh composition made from scratch. So, bravo. Some of the greatest non-sampled beats are the ones that can convince you they did contain samples. Over 20 years later, this song is still smooth as silk. Number 4. Nelly featuring Kelly Rowland, Dilemma, produced by Rick Rock. This song was also released in 2002. Probably the smoothest and catchiest hip-hop song to encourage infidelity. This song was a huge hit in the early 2000s, and it's certainly easy to see why. Crafted from a sample of the song Love, Need, and Want You by the legendary Motown artist Patti LaBelle. This is one of my 2 favorite Nelly songs, and I personally find it to be one of his best songs. Everyone remembers the infamous music video where Kelly Rowland hilariously uses Microsoft Excel to text Nelly on her 9210 Nokia phone. The only thing better than that moment is how good this song actually is. Number 3. Jonte Austin, Turn It Up.
Saturday night off in Katana, all these girls dressed in Gabbana, spotted one I never seen. Did you come alone? It's so lovely just to see you, even lovelier to meet you. Won't you let me buy your drink?
I've always really liked this song since I first heard it 2 weeks before I started the 8th grade. I can remember exactly where I was when I first heard this. I was living with my older sister at the time in Warner Robins, in Georgia. It was 2006, and it was a Thursday evening. I was cleaning my all-white Air Forces, getting my outfit ready for the next day of school, and the music video for this came on TV. I was instantly hooked. The beat was so smooth, with production from 2 of my favorite producers, Jermaine Dupri and No ID. And of course, Mr. Austin has great vocal chops himself and is one hell of a songwriter if you know anything about his background. The beat is crafted from a sample of the Delaney and Bonnie's 1969 song, Superstar. Ironically, this song didn't get much radio play despite the immense talent involved, and the music video wasn't shown that much love at all. From what I can recall, BET would play this on all of their various music video shows except for 106 & Park. And for people who grew up at 106 & Park at that time, you know how odd that was. They did play it once as the new joint of the day when it first premiered, but other than that, you'd have to try and catch it either very late at night on BET After Dark, or very early in the morning during BET Now during BET's off-hour video blocks. Nevertheless, great song and one of my absolute favorite R&B songs since the turn of the century. Number 2. Bow Wow featuring Omarion, Let Me Hold You, produced by Jermaine Dupri and No ID.
Yeah, I know what this is.
That's what you need to do, girl.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite songs from an artist that I don't particularly care for. I remember very clearly when this came out in summer of 7th grade. My best friend from Colorado flew out to visit me during my temporary stay in Georgia, and this premiered one afternoon as the new joint of the day on 106 in Park. Now, Bow Wow was huge when I was a kid, with many hit songs produced by Jermaine Dupri and So So Def. He was my age, but I was listening to Pac and Bone Thugs, not fucking Bow Wow. But a few years later, when this song came out, I immediately took notice. This song was actually one of the very first times I realized what the technique of sampling was in hip-hop. I knew it was highly reminiscent of a song I knew, but wasn't sure which song that was. Turns out it was a sample of Luther Vandross's 1985 song, If Only for One Night, which itself was a cover of the Brenda Russell song of the same name from 1979. This song is nostalgia turned up to 1,000 for me. It's one of the two only songs from Bow Wow that I still have on my iPod to this day. And number 1, Nelly featuring Jaheim, My Place.
We laugh and we cry together through the rain and the stormiest weather. We gon' stay.
This song is the best song that Nelly has ever done in his entire career as a rapper. Even better than Dilemma. Way better than Dilemma. And I like Dilemma a lot, but this is way better than that. This beat is one of my favorite beats ever in existence. And I swear, for the last 20 years, I thought this was a Jermaine Dupri production. 2 decades, and I just found out when putting this video together that JD had absolutely nothing to do with the production of this. It was actually a producer by the name of Domo Beats. Now, I honestly can't say that I'm familiar with his work, but good God, man, take a bow. This has all the ingredients for a perfect beat, and thus, a perfect song. It contains a sample of 3 different songs that make up the foundation for the beat's melody. 1976's Isn't It a Shame by progressive soul group LaBelle, fronted by the legendary Patti LaBelle. 1982's I Like It by R&B soul group DeBarge, fronted by Eldra L. DeBarge. And 1979's Come Go With Me by R&B soul singer Teddy Pendergrass. 3 great songs from 3 legendary Motown artists. It's no wonder this beat makes me feel a certain way. They don't call it soul music for nothing, folks. This came out in early September 2004, 2 weeks before I left Colorado to temporarily live with my older sister in Georgia. I bought the album this was on, Nelly's half of a double album titled Suit, on my way over there, and I listened to it every day on my CD Walkman for months and months, until I upgraded to an iPod Nano later that year. I was 12 years old and had just started 7th grade, and when I think back on that time, this song is so synonymous with it and everything that happened that entire year. An excellent song and one of the greatest beats that I've ever heard. So, that's in my list. Now, as I said, this isn't a definitive top list or anything, as there are several other smooth tracks with even smoother production from that time period. This is just a list of 5 of my favorites amongst the entirety. I'll do another one of these lists at some point in the future, maybe even more than one if I can truly justify the selection. Now, if you grew up during the early 2000s, what are some of your picks from that era? If you're interested in sharing, please leave a comment below. I'm curious to hear your answers. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and of course, if you're interested in content like this, please like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it, and spread the word if possible, please. Thank you all for your time. I sincerely appreciate it. That's all for now, folks. Until next time, everyone, take care, be safe, and happy holidays to you all.